City supports all essential workers who are showing up every day.
It's still March.
Everybody right now is worried that TikTok's going to be banned in the United States.
Normal life canceled.
11 days into the national lockdown.
All public gatherings banned.
Working from home is the new reality.
Are any of y'all wearing pants? Now, be honest now.
School is closed.
For the remainder of the academic year.
Guys, what happened? It kicked her off the internet.
I see Britain is holding up 2 and 2.
Lives of more than 400 million children.
Zoom after Zoom can be exhausting.
It seems like the world's caving in on you.
Yeah, work never stops. It could be taking a toll on your well-being.
This is going to get worse before it gets better.
Italy saw its deadliest day from the coronavirus as the death toll jumped by more than 600 in 24 hours.
The plans we have is to contain
the disease outbreak in Taiwan.
We have very little problem in this country at this moment. 5
people have contracted the virus.
Let us build up our confidence. We will eventually win.
Many of our countries in Europe are now acting to flatten
the curve used when talking about reducing the number of coronavirus cases.
Americans' unemployment claims, nearly 3.3 million
More than
announced.
6 million, I hope that's right.
10 million workers now applying for unemployment.
50 million unemployment claims filed in the span of just 4 months.
A disproportionate number are black.
It's called systemic racism for a reason. There's 400 years of history here.
No! What do we want? What do we want?
One man's death has rekindled this movement around the world.
Frustration over the lack of charges against the officers.
They should be charged. There's always a better way.
Protesters kneeling and raising their hands in peaceful demonstration.
Is that your Bible?
Stay Bible.
The worst fire season ever, and every year builds on the last one, it seems like.
Yeah, it really does.
This is everything we've worked for the last 35 years, gone.
This looks more like Mars.
One of the most busy hurricane seasons ever on record.
Devastation in Puerto Rico.
India and Pakistan are facing their worst locust outbreak in 70 years.
Cases are up.
More than 30 states and Puerto Rico reporting cases on the rise.
Possible second wave.
Going global. 60 million plus cases, almost 1.5 million deaths.
I've developed mild symptoms.
French President Emmanuel Macron.
President Bolsonaro has...
Press Secretary Kayleigh McEnany.
Donald Trump tested positive for the coronavirus.
A false sense of security.
I think it's under control. I'll tell you what.
How? 1,000 Americans are dying a day.
They are dying. That's true. It is what it is.
Country.
When I'm president, we will be better prepared, respond better, and recover better.
Some lines stretching for blocks, forcing people to wait hours to cast their ballots.
It could have rained, it could have snowed. I would not care. I'm not going anywhere.
Results as early as tomorrow morning, but it may take a little longer.
Just have no idea how this one will end.
This is an embarrassment to our country. Frankly, we did win this election.
That is factually inaccurate.
There's still so much that is uncertain.
So settle in.
This does not look like it's going to be a quick, decisive night. The only way this was going to be a quick night was for a decisive early result in those southern states for Joe Biden in Florida. Democrats are nervous about what they're seeing in Florida, Georgia, and North Carolina.
This is a Fox News special report.
Can now project that former Vice President Joe Biden will win Pennsylvania and Nevada, putting him over the 270 electoral votes he needs to become the 46th president of the United States.
Donald Trump, the 45th president of the United States, has vowed not to concede at this point. Legal challenges will ensue over the course of Monday and beyond. We will see what happens.
Keep it here on these stations.
The flame of democracy was lit in this nation a long time ago. And we now know nothing, not even a pandemic or an abuse of power, can extinguish that flame.
I hope I aren't going to have the bloody bug now.
and press on for what is right, for what is fair, and for what is just. But we will not go back. We come too far, and we're not going to give up now.
We're going to walk down to the Capitol because you'll never take back our country with weakness. You have to show strength, and you have to be strong.
It does look like we're going to have an ad hoc march stepping off here. There's a crowd surge heading east.
Mike Pence, I hope you're going to stand up for the good of our Constitution and for the good of our country. And if you're not, I'm going to be very disappointed in you. I will tell you right now.
We're going to give riot warnings. Out of here. We're going to give riot warnings. We're going to try to get compliance, but this is now effectively a riot.
49 hours declaring it a riot.
5 to 50 be advised. They're trying to breach and get to the Capitol.
Hold the line! Hold the line! Hold the line!
We have a breach of the Capitol. Breach of the Capitol to the upper level.
Mike Pence didn't have the courage to do what should have been done to protect our country and our Constitution.
Bring out Pence. Bring out Pence. Bring out Pence.
We can't hold this. We're going to get too many people. Look at this vantage point, man.
We're trying to hold the upper deck. We're trying to hold the upper deck down. We need an area for the House members. They're all walking over now through the tunnels. We need to move now.
Copy.
If we lose any more time, we may lose the ability to leave. So if we're going to leave, we need to do it now. We lost the line. We lost the line. All MPD, pull back. All MPD, pull back at the upper deck. ASAP.
H208 with 4 members. The door's barricaded. There's people flooded the hallways outside. We have no way out.
Officers still remaining on the House floor, so we can secure the members on the other side. Copy.
Officers down! Get them up! Get them up!
And if I win, I will be looking very, very strongly about pardons. And I mean full pardons with an apology to many, an apology. They were peaceful people. These were great people. The crowd was unbelievable. And I mentioned the word love, the love in the air. I've never seen anything like it.
The yeas are 57. The nays are 43. 2/3 of the senators present not having voted guilty. The Senate judges that the respondent, Donald John Trump, former President of the United States, is not guilty as charged in the article of impeachment. Presiding officer directs judgment to be entered in accordance with the judgment of the Senate as follows. The Senate, having tried Donald John Trump.
Gracious and merciful God, at this sacred time we come before you in need, indeed on our knees. But we come still.
The duties of the office upon which I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
It is
is now my great privilege and high honor to be the first person to officially introduce the 46th President of the United States, Joseph R. Biden, Jr.
Together, we shall write an American story of hope, not fear, of unity, not division, of light, not darkness, a story of decency and dignity, love and healing, greatness and goodness. May this be the story that guides us.
A landmark Supreme Court decision that overturned Roe v. Wade. 61% of voters say they disapprove of the Dobbs decision last year, which ruled there was not a constitutional right to abortion and left the legality of abortion up to individual states. 36% of folks approve of this decision.
He looks like he's barely surviving. I don't mean the debate, I mean life.
There is a deep, a wide, and a very aggressive panic in the Democratic Party.
The question is, could it be that Democrats now have to reconsider?
Over the past 3.5 years, we have made great progress as a nation. Today, America has the strongest economy in the world. We've made historic investments in rebuilding our nation, in lowering prescription drug costs for seniors, and in expanding affordable health care to a record number of Americans.
2020 was to pick Kamala Harris as my vice president. He says, and it's been the best decision I've made. Today, he says, I want to offer my full support and endorsement for Kamala to be the nominee of our party this year. He concludes by saying, and again, this is President Biden saying, Democrats, it's time to come together and beat Trump. Let's do this.
And the Oscar goes to Parasite.
Please sit down. Thank you.
I've never seen her before.
Hey, all you cool cats and kittens.
So, folklore is out.
Dodgers have won it all in 2020.
The Los Angeles Lakers.
This is so much bigger than just.
And I don't want the world to see me, 'cause I don't think that they'd understand. When everything's meant to be broken, I just want you to know who I am.
Found your new anchor being.
And we're doing just fine, you piece of shit.
Fine indeed. All right, put your greasy tits away, you preening slut.
I waited a long time for this team up.
In my world, you're well regarded. You were an X-Man. Fuck that, you were the X-Man. The Wolverine. He's a hero in my world.
How does that sound? Welcome to the acoustic set. Are you ready for it? Easy. I know there is a sign on the wall. I know there is a sign go in my morphin mind. A crack in it go in my morphin mind. I have a go.
Good morning. Well, you may remember 2024 as a year of bad news. For example, what am I doing? Why would I remind you? But there was also great news this year that you might have missed. We begin today with murder hornets. These giant bugs arrived in Washington state 4 years ago from Asia. They can wipe out entire hives of honeybees and even kill people. If they were to spread, that would be bad news. So authorities set up traps, tip lines, and tiny tracking devices. And by December 18, entomologist Sven Spichiger announced,
now we can officially say that eradication has been achieved, and it's a significant victory.
Humanity won, nightmare zero. But zero is only one good number. 20,000 is another. 20,000 Americans who didn't die of drug overdoses compared to last year's total. A 17% decline.
The really great news is that we've seen a historic decline in overdose deaths in the past year, the largest decline in overdose deaths ever recorded in history.
Magdalena Cerda is a professor of epidemiology at the NYU Grossman School of Medicine. So, Dr. Cerda, the key question is, why did this happen?
We have a lot of hypotheses. One of them is that there's been a really concerted investment in access to naloxone, which is a drug that can be used to reverse overdoses. Also, what we've seen is a shift from people injecting drugs to people smoking drugs. There's also been a decline in people just using drugs, like fentanyl, among adolescents and young adults.
And within epidemiology circles, is this a big deal?
Absolutely. Of course, there's still more than 90,000 people who've died of an overdose death in the past year, and that's unacceptably high.
Thank you, Dr. Cerda.
Yeah, of course.
Remember New York's LaGuardia Airport? The one with the low ceilings, the narrow corridors, and not enough gates for today's big planes? It was dim and dingy. It was hailed as the worst airport in the United States. Remember what Vice President Biden said?
I think I must be in some third world country.
So in 2015, they started building a whole new airport in stages over and around the old one, and then demolished the original without ever shutting down the airport. Airport critic David Pogue has the verdict. Well, one thing's for sure. It's not dim and dingy anymore. Now it's big, bright, and airy, flooded with natural light, more efficient security, super cool art.
New York, New York.
Including this computer-controlled waterfall. And the planes are now closer to the runways, so there's less sitting on the ground. The critics sing a different song now. They call it the best airport in America. And at this point, there's only one thing left to do. Start the whole thing again at JFK Airport. Back to you, David. Thank you, David. Artificial intelligence has been in the news almost daily this year, mostly about how scary it is. What gets less coverage is how AI is predicting the weather better, adjusting traffic lights more efficiently, diagnosing diseases more accurately. But the biggest AI story of the year might just be AlphaFold. Its purpose is to map the shapes of proteins, infinitesimal, folded up molecules too small to see with a normal microscope.
And so for a long, long time, we've tried to figure out what are the shapes of these? Because if you get the wrong shape, you often get disease.
John Jumper is the director of the AlphaFold project at Google's DeepMind division. He says that if we knew the shapes of the proteins that cause many of the worst diseases, we could start making drugs to fix them. Until AlphaFold came along, how did we determine what the shape of the protein was?
It was really an incredibly difficult process, maybe a year of time, maybe $100,000 in expense to get a single answer, to get just one.
But AlphaFold works thousands of times faster. This year, it finished calculating the shapes of all 200 million known proteins. The scientific world went crazy. Better yet, Google then offered its discovery to the world for free. Over 2 million researchers are already using it to tackle malaria, cancer, Parkinson's, COVID, diabetes, and much more.
I'm certain that we have saved or will save lives with AlphaFold. We will have medicines that we didn't have because of this technology. I think that's just...
This year also brought a little good news, especially for John Jumper. He just won the 2024 Nobel Prize for Chemistry. Well, I'm afraid that's all the time we have. We won't be able to mention the 24 states that raised their minimum wage this year, how the UK shut down its last coal plant, how you can now renew your passport online, the 800 school districts now using electric school buses for cleaner air and fewer child asthma cases, the first successful return from the dark side of the moon, how the hole in the ozone layer is healing faster than anyone expected, or the Postal Service's new mail trucks. They may have a little bit of a platypus vibe, but they finally offer airbags, air conditioning, side doors for unloading, anti-collision systems, and most of them will be electric. Have a joyous new year, and remember, bad news breaks suddenly, but good news happens.
Think of what we could do together. Unlimited. Together we're unlimited. Together we'll be the greatest team there's ever been. Glinda dreams the way we planned them. If we work in tandem, there's no fight we